to preface my story, I'd like to begin with a little background. I am Luke. I was born and raised and bred and lived as a city boy. I know that there's horses, I know there's cows, and sometimes chicken and pigs on farms. That's about it for me. That's all I got. But my mom came from rural Canada, outside of Calgary, about 2 or 3 hours, and she grew up on a farm. Now for me, I lived in the Philippines, so anytime I got to come to the States, or anytime I got to see any of my family besides my immediate family, it was always a big deal. And my grandparents lived on a farm, my uncle lives on a farm, my grandparents' parents live right next to the farm. It's pretty interesting. So when we got to go back, I was so excited. I got to see horses and cows. I was pretty sad there was no pigs or chickens on this farm, but it was still a ball for me. I was probably 10 or maybe 11 years old, and we were just traveling, visiting family, and so I got to hang out with my uncle, who ran a cow-calf operation, and so he would drive all over the places to bring cows to different pastures and different fields so that he could raise them properly. Just so that you have an idea of what my uncle looks like, he's probably yay tall, probably about yay wide. Not like fat, but he's pretty big. He has no thumb. I have no idea why that is relevant to the story, but it's kind of an interesting fact that he has no thumb, so he's always like this and he writes with his fingers like that. I don't know. Thought you'd like that. But he runs the cows, so he drove me. I don't know why he chose me. I have no concept of how to run cows or anything, but I got to drive a little ATV, so he took me around for the fun. And we drove probably 3 or 4 hours to a different pasture so he could unload some cows into this new pasture. And the way it worked is you entered into this gate, and there's one field here, then you go through another gate, and that's where the road ended. So he had to drive the cattle liner in through that gate, and then there's one more gate that had the pasture we're trying to get into. So we go through the first gate, he closes it behind, he goes through the second gate, he didn't close that one, and then he opened the new gate that he wanted them to go into. So he unloads the cows, he says, hey, drive over to that gate and don't let them out. I was like, okay, I can do this, and having way too much fun on my ATV, like, driving around. I get in front of the gate and I sit there and I'm like, I could do this. This farming thing's pretty easy. He unlocks the door. All these cows start pouring out, slowly because they're kind of testing the water and they're just like, oh, okay. They get out. They all start walking faster and faster. And you can see like the head three, they have ideas in their mind. They're heading towards the pasture they're supposed to be going to. I'm like, this is the easiest job ever. I should do this for a living. They look and then they turn. And I can tell what these cows are thinking. They're like, that's the best place to go. That's how to get to freedom. So they see the open gate, and they all turn. And there's probably well, I don't know how many there are. There's a lot of cows. They turn towards me, and they start going faster and faster and faster. I'm this little guy on the ATV. I'm like, what? Revving my engines, trying to scare them. I'm like, ah! I see my uncle on this dirt bike, and he's going, I have no idea what he's saying. He's so far away. He's going like this the whole time. And I'm like, huh? So I'm trying to imitate him, trying to scare the cows going the other way. Nothing's happening. I was scared I was going to die from trampling. I see him jump on his dirt bike. Dirt bike's smaller than him. It's kind of scary. And he charges down towards me. And he gets towards me. He throws the gate as fast as he can to close it. And I was like, is that what you wanted? And he was like, yeah, you close the gate. Born in a barn does not mean that you keep the door open. And so that was one of the biggest communication breakdowns I had. It probably took 30 or 40 minutes to get the cows that actually got out back inside of the pasture. But that was my farming communication breakdown.
All right, good job, sir.